All right, fans, who's got a Pabst Blue Ribbon? If you've got a Pabst Blue Ribbon, hold it up in the air. We're going to pick somebody to blow the Pabst Blue Ribbon start whistle. Hold those cans up high. Hold those cans up high. All right, come on down. Come on down. You be quiet over there, Randall Panini. Why don't you come and join me? Watch out for the referees, they're dangerous.
Okay. He's going to count down 5. Right there. Shoot. Blow the whistle as hard as you can. Okay? There's your hat. There's your whistle, which you get to cue. Right, so you're looking at her right there. Ready?
And this jam is on. We've got Blast Unicorn in the back right now trying to make her way through. Much mayhem though, finds an open lane on the inside, and she's your lead jammer. Really nice ball work being laid up by the Breakneck Betties. Nice offense by Taddy Munster trying to open a hole. And Blast Unicorn escorted out of bounds, and she's still in the pack. Much Mayhem has found her way through and is going around the outside. One player left to beat, and she's made her way through for a grand slam 5 points. Blast Unicorn, one player left to beat, his Super Six-Pack. She's got her locked up, going through that apex, and finally, Blast Unicorn has breached the pack.
Now Blast Unicorn, who is jamming for the Heartless Heathers, cleared her initial pass. Jammers do not score points on their initial pass. Once they have made that initial pass, passing all of the opponent's blockers, after that, every opponent's blocker that they lap, they get a point for.
On the line is Jalapeno with a star on her helmet. She'll be going up against Screamin' Beaver. The Jammers are the ones in charge of scoring the points on the track.
They are the ones with the stars on their helmets. You can usually tell who they are because all of the opposing skaters are usually trying to beat them up.
Both Jammers still stuck in the back of the pack, and the one that gets out first will be awarded lead jammer.
Screamin' Beaver trying to get around Rhea Derange up front. She does. She is the lead jammer. Now the reason that's important is the lead jammer in each jam controls when the jam ends.
Screamin' Beaver tucked around the outside, called off this jam, and picked up 5 points on that last pass.
Now you may have noticed that at the end of that jam, Screamin' Beaver tapped her hips repeatedly. That signals to the referee crew that she wishes to call off the jam.
And we've got Headache on the starter line with a star on her helmet. And she is going to be in a power jam, as you can see, sitting in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. The jammer, Jalapeno for the Breakneck Betties.
Now the other skaters on the track that are not the jammers, those are the blockers.
Blockers' jobs, they played offense and defense at the same time.
In the absence of a jammer on the track for the Breakneck Betties, the Breakneck Betties blockers are playing defense against Headache, while the Heathers blockers are trying to play offense for their jammer and help her get through the pack more quickly.
Now you got to maintain the pack, so all those blockers out there got to stay in a certain amount of distance, and that's 10 feet. Or 20 feet if you're blocking the jammer. Oh, a nice hit out front. Headache trying to get through, and she does for a grand slam 5 points.
The Chestnuts for the Breakneck Betties whistled for a multiplayer block. She is going to spend a minute worth of time in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And that's 5 more points being picked up by Headache. Effie Stoneham trying to play a little bit offense, trying to shake up that pack. She gets through, picks up her 5 points, and calls off this jam. Super Six-Pack taking the line with a star on her helmet for the Breakneck Betties, and Blast Unicorn out there for your Heartless Heathers.
Now, of the 4 blockers allowed on the track for each team at a time, you will notice that one of those blockers for each team has a stripe on their helmet. That notes that skater to be the pivot.
Yep, pivots kind of help control the pack and define what's going on. They can also take the star in the event the star pass happens.
Blast Unicorn now fighting out front against Liquor and Split and Ripley. They push her to the outside, so now the Blast Unicorn has to come in behind those skaters so as not to draw a track cut penalty.
Now that was great work by her offense to hold back, give her an opportunity to get in, and she is awarded the lead jammer status.
Supa 6-pack out of the pack, clear on her initial pass for the Betties.
She engages that pack and calls it off. No 1 point being picked up. That was a good call off as she knew the other jammer was coming around to score on that pack. You're going to see much mayhem out there for the Breakneck Betties.
She looks to be opposite Screaming Beaver for the Heartless Heathers.
And this jam is on. Much mayhem engages the back of that wall and is really trying to get through.
Now, right now, we have all 10 skaters on the track. Much mayhem clearing the pack, getting lead jammer for the Breakneck Betties.
And still stuck in the back. Screaming Beaver trying to find her way out. She gets a little help from her friends, but Supa 6-pack's up front to beat her. Much mayhem in the back has engaged the back of that wall. Indigo Hurls drops back to try and open a hole and pick one off.
Scrappy Go Lucky offense up front for Much Mayhem. Much Mayhem clears the pack. 4 points for the Breakneck Betties.
And that was absolutely fantastic work by both teams to open up that pack and get their jammer through. On the line right now, looks like Headache and Jalapeno once again taking the line with the stars for their teams.
Two jams in a row. We start at full strength, King.
And Headache right now trying to engage the back of that pack and get through. And she's still stuck in the back, but Jalapeno found the light of day and she is free.
Jalapeno did a nice job battling Nacho Lucky Day at the front of the pack, eventually got the best out of her. Lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Ripley up front, really giving Headache a real headache of her own. And in the back, Jalapeno is engaged the back of that wall. She found the light of day and she is through. Nacho Lucky Day up front though, holding on to her and forces her to call that off.
Interesting battle between those two skaters. Nacho Lucky Day trying to hold back Jalapeno on her initial pass and her scoring pass. Well, fans, we'd like to thank Car2Go. Meet the future of car sharing. Sign up today at car2go.com.
And looks like there's going to be an official timeout on the track. They got to review something out there.
Well, now, fans, this is an official timeout. Teams are allotted each 3 timeouts for the entire duration of the bout. Those timeouts do not get reset at halftime. Those timeouts are 1 minute in length. In addition to those, there are official timeouts. The officials can call for an official timeout down on the track whenever they feel the need. Those timeouts can last an indeterminable length of time, and those can be taken as often as needed.
All right, what it looks like happened is there was a penalty assessed that didn't get notified to the skater. She is now taking a seat in the box, and so we're going to start this next jam in a power jam.
That would be Jalapeno sitting in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Breakneck Betties. Power jam for the Heartless Heathers. Blast Unicorn working against the Betties 4-wall in the back of the pack. Indigo Hurls and Chestnuts up front, but the Blast Unicorn through the pack lead jammer, Heartless Heathers.
That's a really nice.
Chestnuts again trying to work over Blast Unicorn at the front of the pack. Scrappy Go Lucky, one last hit, but the Blast Unicorn, 5 points for the Heartless Heathers.
Now they've got the blockers right now in a real sweet spot. That apex has got a lot of room for the jammer to maneuver in. switched. Blast Unicorn right now up front trying to push this pack out. Scrappy Go Lucky, though, doing a nice job defensively, not letting her get anywhere. Forces her to call it off as the other jammer was standing in the box. That's a really good defensive move.
And that was 5 more points for the Blast Unicorn. She had passed all of the opposing blockers on that scoring pass.
Test drive a Fiat at Ron Tonkin Fiat and get free Derby tickets. That's at Ron Tonkin Fiat. Screaming Beaver on the line as the only jammer out there starting this in a power jam. She hits that wall and is just trying to muscle her way through. She's got Liquor and Split up front, and she's just trying to push her and Super Six Pack out of the way. She's going to be Rhea Deranged. She's your lead jammer.
Heather set up a back wall waiting for Jalapeno to come in just out of the penalty box.
Screaming Beaver now up against. She has passed a few players out there. And Jalapeno still trying to find the way to get through. And a cut being assessed on Screamin' Beaver. She's headed back to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
That was Liquor and Split that drew that track cut penalty on Screaming Beaver, but Jalapeno picks up a back block penalty. She is also headed to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And as you know, Derby is no fun with no jammers on the track, so they only had to spend as much time as the last one did. They're both out and ready to go. Another whistle being called out there. Screaming Beaver right now in the back of that, or in the front of that wall, or the back of that wall, trying to find her way through.
Jalapeno returns to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. If I am correct, that is her 4th penalty already this bout. Skaters have 7 penalties. Once they've picked up their 7th penalty, they are no longer skating for the evening.
And Screamin' Beaver with a fantastic move down that line, picks up 5 points on that pass. Fringe Tickler's getting the star pass out there and just gets leveled by Liquor and Split.
French Tickler, though, not having anything of it, pushes her way through the pack. That's a 5-point scoring pass. Heartless Heathers.
And the fans love that hard work. Heathers right now trying to play a little bit of offense. Taddy Munster trying to pick one off.
That was Taddy Munster up playing the offense, trying to break through that wall of Lemon Stinger and Ripley on the outside.
And this jam is over. Fringe Tickler out there as the jammer at the end. Right now we've got a score of 46-17.
We'd like to thank New Belgium Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale or Ranger IPA. Grab one for concessions. That's New Belgium Brewing Company. Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
And she engaged the back of that wall, and she is just trying to push her way through. Interesting offense. They're trying to pick one off, but they're leaving Headache to do all the work on her own. Jalapeno engaged in the back of that pack. She's now trying to get through after serving her time.
Super Six Pack and Chestnuts were the last line of defense for the Betties. Headache gets through. Lead jammer Heartless Heathers.
Super Six Pack comes swooping in there, and the Apex destroys that wall. Jalapeno managed to sneak her way through on that inside line. Headache still in the back of that pack trying to get through, and they are really giving her a hard time, not letting her get very far. Jalapeno comes in. She gets scooted outside by Knife. Headache does manage to get her way through with 5 points.
Chestnuts on her way to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Breakneck Betties. That's a 3-on-3 blocking contingent for each team.
Ooh. Headache calls off the jam after a monstrous hit.
That hit ruled a high block on Scrappy Go Lucky. She is also going to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. We'd like to thank Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers, an official feeder of the Rose City Rollers volunteers. That's Joe's Burgers.
Joe's Burgers is my favorite. Well, right now there's going to be a pack advantage for the Heathers, and Blast Unicorn runs right up that outside. Much Mayhem still stuck behind the walls, but she's pushing it out. Last line of defense could not stop her, and she's free.
French Tickler providing that screen that allowed Blast Unicorn to get through the pack. Blast knocked to the outside, calls it from the outside of turn 2. No points scored in that jam.
OHSU Sports Minute, an immediate care for the Rose City Roller athletes through our Sports Medicine hotline. That's OHSU Sports Medicine.
Oops, sorry.
Knockbox jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Liquor and Split jamming for the Breakneck Betties. Now Liquor and Split knocked Knockbox to the inside of the track. So Liquor and Split is going to try and drag Knockbox as far back as possible, burning some time off that clock.
That's right. This is a good idea for Liquor and Split. It gives an opportunity to burn some of that time and get her blockers out to help out with this jam. Knockblock engages, and she is through just like that.
Knockbox finding room on the inside thanks to knife and mortar and pistol.
Oh, and Knockblock comes up and hits the back of, I believe, Nacho Lucky Day. Nacho Lucky Day taking Liquor and Split back. Knockbox in the front, though, jumps through and picks up 5 points.
Knockbox getting an assist from Knife there, getting through the pack. Liquor and Split trying to push against the Heathers up front.
Liquor and Split still trying to get through that pack. The time she spent was not enough to help her get through it all. Right now, Pistol and Knife tearing her up. A couple of fatal weapons out there, but finally she managed to get through. In the back, Knockblock still stuck behind Scrappy Go Lucky and company. She calls it off. Liquor and Split jumped the apex, but I believe that whistle called before she got there.
Nacho Lucky Day reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Heartless Heathers. Betty's going to start next jam with a 4-3 blocker advantage.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters Sports Buddies. Rose City Roller is proud to be a sports buddy partner encouraging young people to get out and get active. That's Big Brothers, Big Sisters Sports Buddies.
Screaming Beaver jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Super 6-pack for the Breakneck Betties.
And Screaming Beaver engages the back of that pack and cannot get through, but Super 6-pack is up front. 2 players left to beat, but it wasn't enough. She went out of bounds. And she did end up with lead jammer status.
French Tickler reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Heartless Heathers down 2 blockers right now.
And it's really showing as Screaming Beaver having a heck of a time trying to get past those blockers. Scrappy Go Lucky tearing up Screaming Beaver right now, not letting her get anywhere with some fantastic defense.
Rhea Derange and Lemon Stinger both reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for out of play infractions, while Super 6-pack clears the pack for 5 points and clears for 5 more.
And Screaming Beaver only wishes she could get that kind of luck as she gets dropped in the apex. And she, in a low block being called on Screaming Beaver.
Breakneck Betties now find themselves in a power jam with a micro pack out there.
Super 6-packs out there all by herself with a star on. And Heather's taking the front wall.
Breakneck Betties trying to take advantage right now. Super 6-pack around Effie Stoneham. That's a 5-point scoring pass.
Super 6-pack picks up that easy 5 points.
Heather's bench very upset about something that's going on in the far straightaway. Meanwhile, Super 6-pack clears for 5 more points for the Betties.
Betty's taking a back wall in this occasion. Super 6-pack engages the back of that wall, and they're just doing a really nice job. They've got all 4 blockers out there. Super 6-pack calls it off. Oh. And French Tickler getting called with the reverse direction.
Illegal procedure being called by Oedipus Ref. A hit after the whistle sends French Tickler to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. That is her 2nd trip. We'd like to thank Kelly Brown Debt Relief. Kelly Brown likes roller derby. That's Kelly Brown Debt Relief. And we have an official timeout down on the track. Well, fans, remember, pick up those raffle tickets. They are $1 each or 10 for $5. Tonight's raffle, the prize is a 2014 Rose City Rollers season pass and a season poster signed by the Wheels of Justice. That raffle will be taking place at halftime.
Well, it looks like they were just assessing all the penalties that happened in the last in the last jam, and they want to make sure that everybody served the time they were supposed to. It was a good official timeout to make sure everybody served their time.
So Lemon Stinger currently in the penalty box for the Breakneck Betties. French Tickler in the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers. Much Mayhem jamming for the Breakneck Betties. She's got Mad Eye Marley a knife to beat up front. Gets around. She is through. Lead jammer.
Much
Breakneck
Mayhem.
Betties.
Much Mayhem. So agile on her feet. It's hard for a blocker to keep up with her.
Screaming Beaver jammer for the Heartless Heathers started this jam in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And Much Mayhem laps it, picks up an easy 5 points. That was a really nice move right there, going through that apex by Much Mayhem. Another easy 5 points.
Much Mayhem, great lateral movement side to side, made quick work of the Heathers pack. Most likely won't be that lucky this time.
Yeah, this time they got a hold of her, and Screaming Beaver still in the back of that pack. Push Latouche and company back there, tearing her up, not letting her get very far. Much Mayhem getting taken out of bounds. She decides she doesn't want to have to run back. She calls off this jam.
Now, it was a nice job by Mad Eye Marley in that jam to bridge out the pack forward for the Heartless Heathers, and then she was instrumental in bridging it backwards once they had knocked Much Mayhem out of bounds.
Well, after all the points are assessed, we got a score of 60-65. Heartless Heathers are up, but only by 5 points.
Blast Unicorn jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Chestnuts jamming for the Breakneck Betties.
Chestnuts right up the inside lines. Easy jump through. She's your lead jammer. Blast Unicorn still in the back trying to get through. Still stuck there. Chestnuts engages. She's trying to find that inside line again, and she does it once again. Both jammers are now out.
Blast Unicorn now clear on her initial pass. Heathers speeding up the pace of the pack. Scoreboard reads a tie at 65 apiece.
And that's how Derby is played.
Fans, we'd like to thank Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John Landing's favorite eatery and saloon. Check out the Buffalo Gap. Ten skaters on the track to start this jam. Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Much Mayhem for the Breakneck Betties.
Both jammers right now stuck behind those walls. Very tight defense being played by both teams. Much Mayhem found the light of day. She's got Effie Stoneham and Taddy Munster up front. They're battling all the way in the apex. Headache doing some fancy footwork in the back. And Much Mayhem's out as lead jammer.
Taddy Munster tried to put a last-second hit on Much Mayhem. Much Mayhem, though, shakes it off. Lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Much Mayhem trying to sneak her way into that pack. She's gotten a nice wall of defense or offense that was played for. They took out a bunch of players, and that's easy work for a jammer.
And with that, the Breakneck Betties overtake the lead 69-65. We'd like to thank Bike Punk. Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and design. Visit bikepunk.com. Everybody starting in front of the Ron Tonkin Fiat Jam line.
Blast Unicorn up front right now, pushing that pack, and she's your lead jammer. Liquor and Split in the back was taken out of bounds. Mad Eye Marley's rolling her back, and she's got to start again behind that pack.
That was a nice team effort. Liquor and Split, though, choosing to play jammer defense, knocks Blast Unicorn out and drags her back.
And there, she only took her back to the pivot line, and both jammers now starting again, but Blast Unicorn right now on her scoring pass. She hits that pack, has already got a few points. Liquor and Split finally gets through in the front. And last line of defense is Chestnuts with the Blast Unicorn.
Indigo hurls and Rhea Derange branching out the pack.
And she finally calls it off per her bench's request, picking up 5 points.
And it's the Heathers overtaking the lead now, 70-69, as we've got less than 8 minutes to play in this first half.
New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale and Ranger IPA. Grab one from concessions.
Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Super six-pack for the Breakneck Betties.
Both jammers headache right now in the back. Super six-pack though breaks on through to the other side. She's your lead jammer. Right now headache still got a couple blockers left to beat. One of them, Scrappy Go Lucky, not letting her get anywhere. Super six-pack is on her scoring pass now, engaged at the back of that pack, and she's trying to push her way through. Headache still stuck in that pack as Super Six-Pack picks up 5 points.
Ripley and Scrappy Go Lucky were the ones responsible for holding Headache back through most of that first pass. It's Ripley up front still.
Nice bridge work being done by the Betties. Headache still stuck in there and she cannot get through. Super Six-Pack getting taken out, but Push Latush does not let her get back. Super Six-Pack getting taken out. She calls off this jam, getting knocked all around. And whistles are going off. Doesn't matter, Breakneck Betties though jump back up on top, 77-70.
Now Push Latush in that jam was assessed a back block penalty. What she was trying to do was keep the Heathers blockers from recycling her jammer back any farther. However, she did commit a back block penalty infraction while doing that and is going to sit in the Pabst Blue penalty box for the next minute.
Kind bars, snack like there's no tomorrow. Get some kind of snacks. That's Kind bars.
And it looks like we've got an official timeout down on the track. Well, fans, while we have this moment, we would like to thank Twist Sports Conditioning Center. Twist Sports Conditioning Center, official training partner of the Wheels of Justice. Visit twistportland.com.
It looks like on the track at the very end there was a misconduct by Super Six-Pack. She is going to basically be assessed a misconduct, and that's going to put this in a power jam. She pushed off of a down skater and then called off the jam.
So a portion of the crowd not terribly happy with that call, but what this means is that Screaming Beaver and the Heartless Heathers are going to start the next jam in a power jam. Breakneck Betties holding on to a 7-point lead as we have just over 6 minutes left to play in this first half.
Screaming Beaver in the back right now. A little bit of offense being played. She's got one blocker left to beat. That's Liquor and Split who takes her out of bounds. And I'm impressed. She actually stayed out there. Rearrange in the back. The only blocker in the back in red. And Screaming Beaver up against that wall once again, just trying to get her way through.
As Lemon Stinger working up front with Liquor and Split did a nice job holding back Screaming Beaver, but Screaming Beaver threw for lead jammer.
And here she comes again. Screaming Beaver engages that wall. Finally, Rhea DeRange managed to get through. She's laying down a nice bridge up front. Multiplayer block being called on Liquor and Split, and Screaming Beaver gets through, picks up 5 more points.
And calls off the jam while Super Six-Pack still in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. That means the Heartless Heathers are going to start this next jam also in a power jam. And with a 4-2 pack advantage, might I add, King?
Yes, they do. This being only 2 points down, that's a great place for them to be.
Pack advantage favoring the Heartless Heathers. Blast Unicorns got to go up against Scrappy Go Lucky and Ripley.
Just like that, she's your lead jammer. They set up a wall in the back. Scrappy Go Lucky is there to meet Blast Unicorn. She's still trying to find her way through. Excellent defense facing off, and she's got to let her go. That's 5 points, Blast Unicorn.
Heartless Heathers retake the lead as Super Six Pack going up against the Heathers four wall that cycled to the front of the pack.
And the Breakneck Betties drop back and they engage that jammer. And a cut being called.
That's going to send Super Six Pack back to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Heartless Heathers extend their power jam.
Blast Unicorn now, once again, the only jammer on the track. She's in another power jam situation. She finds the opening and gets on through, picking up 5 more points.
Nacho Lucky Day did a nice job pushing Ripley out of bounds, helping allow Blast Unicorn an easier scoring pass.
And Blast Unicorn once again engages Push Latouche and Scrappy Go Lucky. Scrappy Go Lucky really doing the work right now for the Breakneck Betties. Takes out Blast Unicorn.
And Blast Unicorn calls off the jam. Heartless Heathers extend their lead now to 13 points.
Portland Mercury, the food, arts, and entertainment news you need. That's the Portland Mercury.
Under 3.5 minutes left to play in this first half. Headache is going to start in a power jam for the Heartless Heathers.
Right now we got the Heathers at 90 and 77 for the Breakneck Betties. Headache hears that whistle and ends up on her tush right after that. She's still trying to fight her way through. A little bit of offense being played by the Heathers, but it's not enough right now to get their jammer through. Headache still stuck in the back of that pack. Headache finally gets to the front. She's got Rhea deranged, and she's really laying into her. Finally gets the whistle. She's your lead jammer.
Northern Lights Out tried to help extend out that pack for the Breakneck Betties.
Headache and Scrappy Go Lucky came together like atoms colliding. Both players go down, and Headache still trying to get past Rhea deranged. Finally gets through and scores 5 points.
We'd like to thank Hope Baraka, a realtor helping Portlanders buy and sell their dream house. That is Hope Baraka. We'd also like to thank Black Cat Plumbing. Black Cat Plumbing, your local neighborhood plumbing company and a proud part of the Rose City Rollers since 2009. We have an official timeout down on the track. The King going down to check that out. Remember, fans, we've got about 2 minutes, 10 seconds worth of game time left here in the first half. That means if you're going to get those raffle tickets, get them now. They are $1 a piece or 10 for $5. A 2014 Rose City Rollers season pass and a season poster signed by the Wheels of Justice. That is your prize this evening. That raffle will take place at halftime.
Well, it looks like we got a review happening right now. And the review is for a failure to reform. They're saying one of the Betties was out of play, didn't reform. They want the call. They're now reviewing to see who saw it or if anybody did see it, and it can be assessed.
While we wait for that decision, I would like to thank Voodoo Donut. The magic is in the hole, proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. Well, a scoring update. So far, we have the Blast Unicorn leading all. Heartless Heather scores with 31 points. Headache has 28. For the Breakneck Betties, Super Six Pack with 33 points. Much Mayhem with 31.
If you guys are watching at home, we'd like to thank Blaze Streaming Media. The live broadcast tonight of this bout is brought to you by Blaze Streaming Media.
Even if you're watching the bout here, we'd still like to thank Blaze. And it looks like as much order as can be restored has been restored to the track. Heartless Heather's 95, Breakneck Betties 77.
And there's 5 players on the track from each team. Nobody's in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. This jam is on. Both jammers engage their pack. Screaming Beaver right now trying to push by that wall of red, gets taken out of bounds. And up front, Chestnuts, 1 player left to beat. It's Effie Stoneham. And Chestnuts is your lead jammer.
Ripley drags Screaming Beaver all the way to the back of the pack. Did pick up a penalty for her efforts, though. Screaming Beaver now fighting against Lemon Stinger at the front of the pack.
Chestnuts sneaks through on that inside line, picks up a few points for her effort. Screaming Beaver, though, hot on her tail. They're trying to do a little jammer on jammer defense. Finally decide they're not going to eat the baby and let this one roll. 5 points being scored.
Liquor and Split and Chestnuts trying to eat the baby there. That is sucking the opposing jammer back into the pack. Just could not quite pull it off, though.
1 point being picked up on that pass. Timothy Murray Photography. Visit timothymurrayphotography.com for classic black and white derby film images.
4-3 pack advantage in favor of the Heathers to start this next jam. Knockbox jamming for the Heathers, much mayhem for the Breakneck Betties.
Both blood jammers right now still sucking the pack. Knockbox being knocked, or I should say, out of bounds, but much mayhem up front clears that pack, and she's through as lead jammer.
Breakneck Betty's going to try and make up the 12-point difference in this jam alone. Nice defense to start.
Much mayhem sneaking around the outside, finally gets caught and taken out of bounds. Knockbox getting a piece of scrappy-go-lucky, she gets taken out of bounds. Both jammers right now trying to navigate their way through, and much mayhem around the outside, and she's through, picking up 5 points.
Much mayhem showing off that incredible pickup speed as she goes round the outside to clear the pack on that scoring pass. Meanwhile, Knockbox still mired in the pack.
Knockbox still trying to find her way through. She's got 1 player left to beat, but that's scrappy-go-lucky. Much mayhem getting taken out on the inside and being led back by Patty Munster.
Knockbox clear on her initial pass. Much mayhem calls off the jam after picking up 2 more points for the Breakneck Betties. And fans, we're headed to halftime. Stick around, we have crazy halftime shenanigans and a raffle. Don't miss out. Make sure you get those tickets as quickly as possible.
We're about to get this jam back going as halftime comes to an end. Are you guys ready for the second half? And the second half is going to start with much mayhem and headache on the line. Both jammers engage the back of that pack. Much mayhem finds a line around the outside. She's your lead jammer.
Outside line unguarded by Heather's blockers, allowing Much Mayhem through. Headache taking the same route. She's clear on her initial pass.
And Much Mayhem finds an open hole on the inside line, calls it off after picking up 4 points on her scoring pass. It's a 1-point game!
Nice job of misdirection by the Betties blockers in that jam, allowing Much Mayhem to go outside on the initial pass, inside on the scoring pass.
We're going to see Jalapeno and Screamin' Beaver once again on the line as your jammers in this next jam.
Jalapeno taking the outside. Patty Munster lays in a hit, as does Knife. Last second hit, but lead jammer going to the Breakneck Betties.
Still stuck in the back of the pack. Maybe not. Screaming Beaver managed to eke her way out, but she's got a lot of track to make up. Jalapeno engaged the back of the pack. She pushes her way through and is calling off the jam. Nice heads-up play by Jalapeno. 4 points being scored.
And the Breakneck Betties have now taken the lead at 98-95. We'd like to thank PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happenings. That's PDX Pipeline.
Super six-pack and headache on the line as your jammers in this next jam. This jam is on. Slowly they engage the back of that pack. Headache hits the back of that wall. Super Six Pack still trying to struggle past French Tickler. Headache's got 2 blockers up front. But Scrappy Go Lucky and Liquor and Split trying to slow her down. Super Six Pack, 1 player left to beat up front, and Nacho Lucky Day doing some nice blocking. But Super Six Pack, your lead jammer.
Nice one-on work by Nacho Lucky Day there. She recovers and actually ends up playing offense for Headache. Scrappy Go Lucky has to let Headache go. She is clear on her initial pass.
Super Six Pack in the back of that pack again. She's got 2 players left to beat. Nacho Lucky Day takes her out of bounds. She cannot seem to get through, calls it off. Right as Headache was hitting the back of that pack.
We'd like to thank She-Bop, a female-friendly sex toy boutique in Portland, Oregon. Check out She-Bop. Much mayhem jamming for the Breakneck Betties. Knife jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
This jam is on. Knife up against the back of that red wall, and she just keeps running on her toe stops, while Much Mayhem still in the back of that pack, trying to get through that blue wall. Nice defense being played by both teams. Much Mayhem has managed to break up that pack a little bit. She goes around the inside line. Oh! And she's being called on a low block. Knife ended up on the deck. She looks like she's rocked herself a little bit. She's done a
Mortar and Pistol picking up an illegal procedure. Knife was not sure whether or not she was going to pass the cap. Mortar and Pistol took the jam cap from her as the pivot, which is an illegal procedure.
And they call this one down. Looks like Knife is on the track. And she took a pretty hard hit out there.
Bellstar and Cadillac coaches for their respective teams out talking to head ref Oedipus.
This next jam is going to start with a power jam. If you recall, Much Mayhem was whistled, I believe, for a low block.
Yes, she was. That is what started everything that transpired after that, oddly enough.
But they're going to have a lopsided pack out there with only 2 blockers for the Heathers. And all 4 blockers out there for the Breakneck Betties. You know, that's give a big thanks to Bridgetown Boneyard. Those sitting on the trackside are part of the Bridgetown Boneyard, sponsored by Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Oedipus ref now motioning over to the Heartless Heathers bench. So Screaming Beaver is going to be sitting in the penalty box for 1 minute. An insubordination penalty was picked up by Knife in that jam. That's why Screaming Beaver is starting in the penalty box, and with Much Mayhem out of the penalty box, engaging the front of the pack, pushed out by French Tickler, who was then pushed out by Scrappy Go Lucky. Much Mayhem has cleared her initial pass and has been declared lead jammer.
And she finds her way around through the inside, both Screaming Beaver and her. Much Mayhem trying to make their way through.
And French Tickler now returns to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. That box is full of blockers though, and she is waved off, so she will have to participate in the next jam and will take a seat in the penalty box when one opens up. We'd like to thank Kind Bars, a brand of all-natural whole nut and fruit bars made from ingredients you can see and pronounce. That's Kind Bars.
Jalapeno running up that outside line, does get taken out. Both her and Headache knocked on the ground on the outside. Cut being called on Jalapeno. Headache in the back. She's in a power jam now. She hits the back of that wall and is trying to push her way through.
Lemon Stinger trying to bridge out the pack. Headache clear of the pack. That was her initial pass, and she is declared lead jammer.
Headache engaged the back of that wall once again. She's in the apex, and she's got lots of room to run. She's taken out, but still trying to get her way through. Excellent defense being played by the Betties right now.
That's Rhea DeRange and Ripley working up front for the Betties. Headache clears on a 5-point scoring pass for the Heartless Heathers, and that puts them back in the lead.
And she gets taken out of bounds. Headache trying to get through, does get called on the cut.
Headache whistled on that track cut as she was pushed out of bounds in turn 2.
And as you know, Derby's no fun with both jammers in the pack or in the off the track. So Jalapeno, it looks like she might have served her time. She's out and on her way around.
Betties with a 4-3 pack advantage. Betty's also looking to reclaim the lead from the Heathers.
Nice defense being played by the Heathers, and they're trying to slow her down, but Jalapeno works around the outside, and she's through.
Jalapeno now cleared her initial pass. She had not cleared her initial pass before reporting to the penalty box.
Oh, they fake some offense. Jalapeno jumps right through a hole in that wall. Nice defense being played in the apex. Ripley jumps through and picks off a blocker.
Now Ripley had tried to take French Tickler with her though, could not get her. Frenchie's still fighting Jalapeno up front, but 4 more points picked up by the Breakneck Betties. They now have a 5-point lead over the Heartless Heathers. Fans, we'd like to thank Oaks Amusement Park, home of the Rose City Rollers, and the place to purchase your Derby gear. That's Oaks Amusement Park. Chestnuts jamming once again for the Breakneck Betties.
And excellent offense being played out there as Chestnuts had a wide open hole and jumped right on through.
Chestnuts trying to barrel her way through the front of that Heathers pack.
And in the back, Headache being caught by Liquor and Split, and she gets dragged back. Out of play being called, I believe, on Liquor and Split. 5 points, though, up front being picked up for Chestnuts.
Headache being pushed to the inside by Indigo Hurls. Headache comes back in legally.
Indigo Hurls playing a little bit of offense. Liquor and Split. Or excuse me, Chestnut still stuck in there. She's got one blocker left to beat those. Child trying to work her way through. Finds her way to the light of day, picking up 5 points.
Back block penalty being assessed to Indigo Hurls. She's going to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And Headache up against 2 blockers right now, trying to get her way through. Out of play being called on Scrappy Go Lucky. They were more than 10 feet.
Headache clear of the pack on her initial pass now. Blast Unicorn reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And Chestnuts is going to go ahead and call that off as Headache was barreling around that track on her scoring pass.
Breakneck Betties now a 19-point lead at 123-104. We've got 21 minutes left to play in this bout. And we would like to thank Bridgetown Automotive. They're awesome mechanics. We trust them, and so should you. That is Bridgetown Automotive.
This jam is on, and Much Mayhem still stuck in the back of that pack, but she finds a hole around the outside lane, and she gets through as your lead jammer.
Ripley trying to hold back Screaming Beaver. Screaming Beaver now clear of the pack for the Heartless Heathers on her initial pass.
Scrappy Go Lucky trying to play some offense out there, and Much Mayhem gets around, gets a hit, and calls off the jam, protecting those points.
French Tickler doing a nice job pushing Much Mayhem out of bounds. Much Mayhem, though, did pick up 2 points.
And there's going to be an after party tonight. That's going to be at the Space Room, 4800 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard, and that's going to be with DJ Quiet Mind. Once again, at the Space Room is the after party.
Headache on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers. Super 6-pack on the Ron Tonkin Fiat jam line for the Breakneck Betties.
Headache up against a 2-wall being laid down out there. Super 6-pack runs up that inside line and is your lead jammer.
Breakneck Betties doing a good job picking up lead jammer despite the fact the last couple of jams they have been short-handed.
And another penalty being assessed on the Betties. Headache does get through, but so does Super 6-pack. She picks up 4 points on that pass.
That was an out-of-play penalty picked up on Liquor and Split. She joins Scrappy Go Lucky in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. The Nightlight Lounge is the Rose City Rollers' favorite Clinton Street bar and the only place to get Rose City Rollers tickets in town. That is the Nightlight Lounge. Bell Star calling a team timeout for the Heartless Heathers. That is their first of 3 timeouts, and we would like to kick it over to DJ Agent Meow for the Magic Pony Music Minute. And we are about to get the action back underway on the track. Before we do, I'd like to thank McDonald Miller Facility Solution, proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers.
Once again, Jalapeno is on the line for her team, right along with, I believe, Screamin' Beaver. Screamin' Beaver does find a little bit of a hole on the outside and is now up against the back of that red wall. Jalapeno, though, still stuck in the back. Lots of defense being played by the Heartless Heathers.
Effie Stoneham reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for a track cut.
And up front, Chestnut's really abusing Screamin' Beaver, but she finally makes her way through. In the back of that pack, Jalapeno still trying to get through. Oh, she bit it.
Quick recovery by Jalapeno, though. Taddy Munster knocking her outside right before turn 1.
And Screamin' Beaver is taken out of bounds by Chestnuts. Up front, Jalapeno finally gets through. Not as lead jammer, though. 4 points being picked up on that last pass.
French Tickler returning to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box at the end of that jam.
Well, Mike Checks, has been quite a tight game. Right now we've got a 21-point spread, but as you know, that score has flopped back and forth the whole quarter and a half we've seen so far.
Indeed, we are down to under 18 minutes left to play in this bout. Blast Unicorn jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Much mayhem for the Breakneck Betties.
Much mayhem. Tried to run up that outside, got escorted out of bounds. Blast Unicorn, though, finds room on the inside. She's your lead jammer.
Nice cycling by the Heartless Heathers blockers, Taddy Munster and Nacho Lucky Day. High block being assessed to Taddy Munster.
That was a huge hit. Blast Unicorn up against the back of the wall. Liquor and Split is trying to slow her down. Multiplayer block being called, and Much Mayhem, I think, caught everybody just about looking the other way.
Now, while Nacho Lucky Day was the only blocker on the track, it looks like she might have been whistled for an out-of-play penalty. Much Mayhem through the pack quickly. 4 more points for the Breakneck Betties.
And up front, Blast Unicorn also picking up 4 points. She's calling it off. That's a mighty full Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Indeed it is. We will get all of that sorted out before the next jam. It looks like Ripley reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Breakneck Betties.
While they're out there talking about it, Ron Tonkin Fiat. Hardest hits of the night are brought to you by Ron Tonkin Fiat, and you can also go there and get your derby tickets. Ron Tonkin Fiat.
While we've got an official timeout on the track, I would like to thank the following sponsors: Portland Vital Signs, City Graphics, Portland Independent Films, and Kay's Lounge. While we are waiting for word on this official timeout, we would also like to thank Strength Fit, helping the Betties continue breaking necks and dreams. And Moreland Vision Source. Moreland Vision Source, helping the Betties focus on the game since 2011.
Well, what we were doing down here was figuring out the penalties and making sure they were all assessed. The only thing that's going to be added is Ripley left the box early on her penalty minute, and she had to go back now and serve an extra minute.
Fair enough, and for Ripley, that only her 3rd penalty this bout for the Breakneck Betties. Now the Heather's going to start with 3 blockers in the penalty box. Bella Constrictor, the only blocker of record out there. Good luck, Bella. Scrappy Go Lucky and Chestnuts, the only blocker for the Breakneck Betties. Headache jamming for the Heathers. Super 6-pack for the Betties. Super 6-pack through the pack first. Lead jammer goes to the Breakneck Betties.
And Headache right now trying to work her way around the outside. She does finally get through, but that's with help from Bella Constrictor.
Bella Constrictor doing a nice job moving Scrappy Go Lucky off the track.
There's a real depleted pack out there. Super 6-pack, 1 player left to beat. That's Fringe Tickler. She's up against the back of her and trying to fight her way through. Ekes around on the outside. Headache got dropped in the apex. Oh, and she finds a nice, easy lane to walk up. That's 4 easy points for her.
French Tickler, nice job of offense there. Headache had been looking for a low block call, did not get it.
And Super 6-pack in that pack. Headache gets around. Out of play being called. Scrappy Go Lucky's got to let her go. That's 4 easy points for Headache.
Now Scrappy does a nice job there transitioning from defense to offense for Super 6-pack. 3 more points picked up by the Betties in a wild jam. Betties still with a 20-point lead as we are under 15 minutes left to play. We'd also like to thank American Family Insurance, the Kenneth Hart Agency. Your Derby dream is out there. We'll protect it. That's American Family Insurance. Everybody lined up in front of the Ron Tonkin Fiat Jam line to start this jam, King.
Yes, they did. And what we got is Screaming Beaver in there trying to muscle her way through. And that's a little bit of jammer hit from Jalapeno. Jalapeno still trying to get through that blue wall, but she's also playing a little bit defense. She's looking over her shoulder, making sure Screaming Beaver doesn't go anywhere. Finally, she finds that she wants to try and get through, but she gets taken out in the apex. Screaming Beaver, though, up front. One player left to beat. Oh, and a huge hit by Ripley.
Effie Stoneham had to choose whether she was going to try and take out Ripley or Rhea Derange. Effie Stoneham choosing Rhea Derange. It was Ripley that leveled Screaming Beaver, though.
And Effie Stoneham trying to play some great defense. Gets through. Jalapeno, though, is your lead jammer. Still stuck in the, well, not anymore. Stuck in the pack is Screaming Beaver.
Inverse offense by French Tickler allows Screaming Beaver to clear the pack on her initial pass.
Oh, and Jalapeno tries to find a hole around the outside, calls it off. Did she pick up any points? She got 1 point for that effort.
Breakneck Betties extend their lead to 21. We'd like to thank Kelly's Olympia, proud sponsor of the Breakneck Betties, and Cova Coffee, proud sponsor of the Heartless Heathers.
That's good coffee right there. Glass Unicorn once again as your jammer. She's up against the back of those Betties. Much mayhem, though. Easily glides around the outside, and it's now a foot race to the back of the pack.
Super Six Pack reporting to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for a multiplayer block.
Both jammers engage. Much Mayhem calls it off. No points scored by either jammer. I don't think Much Mayhem agrees out there, but doesn't matter, does it?
I don't think the Blast Unicorn agrees with that assessment either. So our score will stay where it is. 21 points separating these teams, just over 12 minutes left to play.
Headache went out there without a star on her helmet and was about to get a short track. I don't know if I would have told her if I was the opposing jammer.
Chestnuts, though, kind enough to do so.
Headache, you're up front trying to push this pack out. She's got Lemon Stinger, last line of defense, holding her back. Chestnuts out there trying to get through, getting taken out on that inside line. Headache is your lead jammer.
French Tickler levels Ripley.
In the back of the pack, Chestnut still in there. Mad Eye Marley still got a hold of her, and French Tickler still taking her back. Well, Headache, though, is up against the back of that wall now on her scoring pass.
Nice swarming defense by the Heathers, though. Chestnut's now clear on her initial pass.
Headache calls this jam off. And no points scored by either team. That's some good D.
The clock continues to count down. We are under 11 minutes left to play. The Blast Unicorn returning to the jam line for the Heartless Heathers. Jalapeno jamming for the Breakneck Betties. Blast Unicorn with 39 points to her credit so far tonight. Jalapeno 22.
They take off of that Tonkin jammer line. Jalapenos getting knocked on the outside. And Blast Unicorn ends up taking a fall. She's trying to sneak through on that inside, but Push Latush is a little bit too much for her to push.
Pack the size of a phone booth. Jalapeno breaks through lead jammer Breakneck Betties.
And Blast Unicorn has to start again at the back of the pack. Right now, there's a lot of defense being played on her. She's taken outside. Jalapeno on her scoring pass. Mad Marley, last line of D, but it's not enough to stop her, and she gets through, picking up a grand slam, 5 points.
Picks up all 5 points on that scoring pass. Blast Unicorn trying to work through that wall of Betty's defense in the back of the pack.
Jalapeno once again is engaged on another scoring pass. Great defense, though, being picked up by the Betties as they are not letting Blast Unicorn get anywhere. Jalapeno trying to get through up front, still decides to call it off. Looks like she just ran out of steam. 4 points, though, being picked up for her effort.
We'd like to thank Voodoo Donut. The Magic is in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. Screaming Beaver jamming against Much Mayhem.
Screaming Beaver tries to hit the back of that red wall and she just gets stopped, but she found some kind of a hole. Lemon Stinger is down and Screaming Beaver's your lead jammer.
Much Mayhem to the penalty box though. Power jam Heartless Heathers.
And they're gonna set up shop and wait for Screaming Beaver. Now it's gonna be a hard push for her to try and get through, but this is the exact scoring opportunity they need right now. Screaming Beaver just pushing away. She's passed 2 blockers so far. They're doing some nice bridge work. One last line of defense by Rhea DeRange, and Screaming Beaver picks up 5 points.
Heather's going with the passive offense there. It took Screaming Beaver 14 seconds to get through the pack on that scoring pass.
Not bad defensive protection. Screaming Beaver once again up against Ripley and Rhea DeRange. Ripley doing great work, slowing her down. I've got to be impressed with Screaming Beaver just pushing to get through. Multiplayer block being called. Screaming Beaver gets through. That's 5 points.
And again, nearly 16 seconds to get through the pack on that scoring pass. That's 32 seconds for 10 points.
There's only 2 blockers out there. Lemon Stinger is laying down some really nice work. And Screaming Beaver gives her a nice little love tap to try and get some room. Rhea DeRange, swing and a miss. That's 5 more points.
French tickler to the penalty box.
And Taddy Munster getting up real slow after getting leveled from Much Mayhem. It's like she took a nice big hit. She's holding her backside there, and I think she's gonna be okay.
Fans were looking for a call. They did not get one. Cadillac and Bell Star out talking to Darth Bling and Oedipus Ref.
Twist Sports Conditioning Center. Twist Sports is the official trainer partner of the Wheels of Justice.
Headache jamming for the Heartless Heather. Super 6-pack for the Breakneck Betties. Only 15 points difference in this bout.
Super 6-pack gets around through the outside. She's your lead jammer. And still in the back of the pack, Headache trying to get through. Nice big hit by Liquor and Split, but unable to stop her.
Headache and Liquor and Split going at one another. Headache thought she had gotten a whistle to be let go, but continues to be abused by Liquor and Split and Scrappy Go Lucky.
And Headache finally does get through. She's not your lead jammer, but in a scoring pass is Super 6-pack.
Scrappy Go Lucky now going to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for a direction of play penalty as Super 6-pack calls off the jam. And King, that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box is full of Betty's blockers.
I was going to say, that's an entire blocking team of 4 blockers that are had to report to that penalty box. And I think we're going to have a timeout.
Team timeout, Heartless Heathers. Let's kick it over to DJ Agent Meow for a Magic Pony Music Minute. Just so everybody is clear as to what is going on the floor, the timeout taken by the Heartless Heathers is actually an official review.
Well, what they're reviewing right now is whether or not Liquor and Split deserves an insubordination for not leaving the track in an appropriate time frame. She had a whistle, she skated a long distance of time, and didn't leave the track. They're trying to assess now if she knew she had a penalty at the time that she was out there.
When you are whistled for an infraction, you are supposed to leave the track immediately, if possible. The insubordination minute is assessed when the referee crew feels that a skater did not leave the track in a timely and safely manner, knowing that they had a penalty to report to the penalty box. Where's Napoleon blown apart? I think she's being outdanced by the guy down there in the far apex.
So interesting thing, she will not be serving in insubordination, but she will be serving because she had 2 penalties out there. A forearm, and then whatever the first one was.
I believe that it was a track cut penalty, but please don't quote me on that.
All right, I want to know where are the Betty fans out there?
Heartless Heathers fans, let's hear you make some noise! I don't know, King. Sounds about as close as this bout is right now.
I'm about to say, considering the score and who's out there and what's happening, yeah.
Blast Unicorn jamming for the Heartless Heathers, Chestnuts for the Breakneck Betties.
And Blast Unicorn goes up against the back of Scrappy Go Lucky and jumps to the outside. She's your lead jammer. And just like that, Chestnuts is also through.
Chestnuts showing off that great pickup speed of her own. Scrappy Go Lucky now leaving the track to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And Blast Unicorn scooted around the outside of Ripley, picked up 4 points. The reason she got 4 points is because there was 3 blockers in the penalty box.
And 4 points picked up by the Breakneck Betties. 0 point differential in that jam.
I need the puck to be slow.
4-2 pack advantage for the Heartless Heathers to start this jam. Much mayhem jamming for the Breakneck Betties. Screaming Beaver for the Heartless Heathers.
Both blockers right now, or jammers right now, trying to find their way through. Much Mayhem does find a nice open hole, and she is through. Screaming Beaver, though, not far behind her. A Super Six Pack trying to give her a hard time.
Well, that was Super Six Pack's defense up front, holding back Screaming Beaver that allowed Much Mayhem to pick up the lead jammer status.
Much Mayhem, with all those blockers out there, makes it look easy. She calls it off and picks up. They don't know yet.
Much Mayhem was lobbying for all 4 points there. She gets 3 of the 4.
Impressive for the Betties with such a depleted squad to jump through all 4 of those blockers like that.
Like I said, it was Super Six Pack's defense up front that allowed that lead jammer to go the way of the Betties. Jalapeno jamming for the Breakneck Betties. Headache for the Heartless Heathers.
And both these jammers right now stuck. Well, not so stuck. Headache manages to jump on through. Jalapeno, though, she also jumps right on through. Nice short work of those 4 blockers.
Headache has 45 points already this evening, looking to add to that total.
Ooh, and she comes in like a wrecking ball, pushes them out of play, and calls off this jam.
No points picked up in that jam. And a team timeout being called by the Heartless Heathers. Porque no?
Porque yes!
Porque no. Amazing taqueria food with 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. Is anybody in this building having any fun tonight? I just want to say you guys are great as a crowd. This has been a lot of fun tonight, so thank you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it.
You know, this is a sign of what's to come this season. So far, all we've seen this weekend is great bouts.
That's right. In case you have forgotten since the beginning of this bout is for first place between these teams in the home league. Breakneck Betties holding on to a 22-point lead. We have under 4 minutes left to play.
And you know, it wasn't too long ago they had a 21-point lead, and I want to say they haven't really moved anything in about the last 12 to 15 minutes.
No, it has been nickel and dime right now, and time on the Betties side. They are sending Chestnuts out to the jam line opposite the Blast Unicorn for the Heartless Heathers.
And Blast Unicorn was trying to sneak up, but Chestnuts runs around, and she's your lead jammer. All they've got to do right now is stay in and stay out of the penalty.
Chestnuts with some jammer defense right there as the jammers approach the back of the pack.
And she calls it off. No points being scored by either team.
Now, in case you were wondering, Chestnuts there trying to roll down as much playtime on the clock as possible, slowing the Blast Unicorn's roll on that jam, calling it off at the last second possible. Screaming Beaver returns to the jam line for the Heartless Heathers, opposite Much Mayhem for the Breakneck Betties. Much Mayhem with 55 points tonight.
And Much Mayhem jumps up that line. Screaming Beaver right behind her. They're trying to find a way through this pack right now. Much Mayhem trying to go around the outside. French Tickler not letting her get anywhere so far. Screaming Beaver still stuck in the back of that pack. Right now this pack is 3-on-3 and defense is the word. Screaming Beaver still stuck behind Lemon Stinger, still not able to get through. She's on the deck. Much Mayhem's got 2 blockers. One of them's French Tickler, and she has not let her go yet. And they finally do have to let her go as they get pushed out of play. Much Mayhem lead jammer.
Effie Stoneham drop back to bridge, then switches up, tries to play inverse offense for Screaming Beaver, who's still being held back by the Breakneck Betties.
Read to range, escorts Screaming Beaver outside of bounds. Her and Liquor and Split take her way back. She's got to start again. This is vital right now for the Heartless Heathers to get their jammer through. Much Mayhem up front, still trying to push against French Tickler. French Tickler and Nacho Lucky Day, defensive juggernauts, and they are showing it right there. Still stuck in the back. Screaming Beaver not being able to get past Liquor and Split.
Well, and a great duo working over Much Mayhem up front. That's Nacho Lucky Day and French Tickler. Much Mayhem finally clears the pack. 5-point scoring past Breakneck Betties.
Screaming Beaver still stuck in there. Ripley, Liquor and Split, and Lemon Stinger have just set up a great wall. Oh, and Lemon Stinger hit the deck. Ripley, the only person out there still trying to block her. She's finally got to let her go.
Lemon Stinger hits the deck as she was callously shoved by Liquor and Split, her teammate.
It's a love tap. And Much Mayhem gets through and calls off this jam after picking up 4 more points.
And the Betties starting to pull away. 31-point difference as we are closing in on 1 minute left to play. Heartless Heather's going to send Headache out to the Ron Tonkin Fiat jam line. Breakneck Betties sending out Jalapeno.
We've seen this matchup more than once tonight. We've got all 4 blockers out there. This jam starts. These jammers hit the back of that pack. Jalapeno characteristically tries to run up that outside. Nacho Lucky Days has her have a seat. Oh, she finds the inside line. She's your lead jammer. That is not good news for the Heartless Heathers.
Betty's getting the screen on the inside they needed for Push Latush, and Indigo hurls. That frees Jalapeno. Headache still trying to work over the Betty's defense at the front of the pack.
Headache really trying to push this out of play up front. Chestnuts and Scrappy Go Lucky. Oh, and Scrappy Go Lucky takes her out. Oh, but she hit her out of play. Headache gets a free pass up front, but Jalapeno jumps through that pack and picks up some more points for the Breakneck Betties.
4 more points for the Betties. And Jalapeno calls off the jam.
officially, we got a score of 174 Breakneck Betties, 143 Heartless Heathers. So I think it's pretty safe to say, unless there's something pretty epic that's about to happen, Breakneck Betties pulled this off. I think they can go ahead and look at taking their victory lap after they get done with their victory cheer. All things considered, ladies and gentlemen, this was a great bout all night long. Breakneck Betties. Breakneck Betties, go ahead and take your lap. And here come your Heartless Heathers! And we have a final score, 174 Breakneck Betties, 143 Heartless Heathers. Don't go anywhere, we're gonna be going down to mic checks for your MVP of the game.
All right, we've got the MVP awards.